What is up, everybody? Welcome to SHL Tonight. I hope everybody is having a wonderful evening. We're here to talk some SHL hockey. I'm your host, Ace. Alongside me is Hiff, HFFO. How's it going tonight, Hiff?
It's not too bad. Had some sushi. Here to talk some SHL.
Ooh, a little sushi. What'd you get?
It's a place near us that just does a Mackie party tray. It's always good.
Okay. Did you go like the stereotypical sushi roll that me and my wife get is the California roll? But what did you do?
The California roll's always in, so that's good. They had a bunch of different things in there, though. The yam one was pretty good, actually, surprisingly.
There you go. I honestly am a very sheltered sushi eater, so that's really all
I believe that. You are a
believe
Bruins
that?
fan.
Why would you believe that? A Bruins fan? Is that it? Is that why? Is that exclusively?
People say things about the city of Boston. I wouldn't know the claims, but people say things.
Yeah, leave it to the Habs fan from Ontario to have claims about Boston. Okay, all right, that's fine. We already got a few people in the chat. Love to have you guys here. Like I said when we were introducing this podcast, this is a highly interactive podcast. Love to see people here. We got Josh in here, Raj, Augie, Bytor is here, Koa. Awesome. Yeah, only 2 minutes before we're burning each other. If you think it's going to be early, it's going to happen early and often. We're going to have a good time here on SHL Tonight. So those of you that don't know us, obviously it's a brand new episode. It's a brand new show. Super happy to have everybody here. We're here to break down the latest, the greatest, all things SHL hockey. Obviously with me and Hiff's experience, we're going to be talking a lot from the SHL management perspective, but we obviously, seeing how we've been here since the wheel was invented, we've got a lot of context on talking about all things SHL. So really excited to getting it going here. Phantomin says, look at these two. We're here. We're on camera here to talk to you. I did say your name, Augie. That's right. It's going to be a ton of fun.
I'm actually specifically here for Fanto, nobody else.
It's just Fanto. Yeah. That's why Hiff's here. Augie says she loves asparagus sushi. I can't say I've ever had it. Hiff, have you had it?
I have not, no, because I wouldn't touch anything with asparagus willingly.
Wow. I love asparagus personally. Asparagus is Biss as far as I'm concerned. And then Biss is best in slot for those of you that aren't nerds like me, if you're not familiar. So we've got a lot to talk about tonight. It's a fun time in the Simulation Hockey League right now. Congratulations to 2 back-to-back cup winners. We've got to give a shout out right off the hop to the San Francisco Pride. Congratulations on your back-to-back. Bad Wolf and team, very, very well deserved. And then on the SMJHL side, to the Quebec City Citadels, congratulations. I had a lot of fun calling your games this year, specifically to Mateo, Edmonton prospect. Every time he scored or got on there, I had to hit him with the Cristoforo Ragamonte Piano, and it was a fun time. So
he's going to look good in his SHL jersey next season too, I think.
I think he's probably going to tank. He's just not a good player at the SHL level personally.
But, yeah, he's known for that, making bad players.
Yeah, that user, terrible SHL players. Awful. I also got a shout out to my my former SMJHL team, Great Falls Grizzlies. Rise up. That's Bjorn Viggoson, who retired 2 years after 425 TPE, but that's okay. That's all right. Bro's washed. I don't know. Get ready for Leo Carlson. Raj, who are you talking about? Who's washed? I mean, everybody knows Bjorn Viggoson.
To be fair, Leo Carlson, real life, is washed, but I digress.
The paint's not dry yet there, Hiff. It's not dry yet. So we're having fun here already. We're only 5 minutes in here. We got 11 viewers. Love to have you guys here. Every SHL GM has been in the Grizzlies at this point, Koa says.
I have not. I was on the Regina Force, though.
Yeah, you're not a GM anymore. You're an assistant GM now.
That's a fair point.
You quit. Kari's here. Hello, Kari. Can we get some bubbler discourse in the chat? It's not a water fountain. It's called a bubbler that you go to drink from. That's where I firmly stand. Don't call you that. Okay, I won't call you that. Sorry. All right, so we've got a lot to talk about here. Introducing myself. If you don't know me, my username on the site is Ace. I myself have been involved in the Simulation Hockey League since season 4. and if you don't know, that goes back to like 2011, by the way. So I've been involved in a bunch of different roles. I've been SMJHL commissioner. I've been part of the sim team. I've been part of the PT team. I've been part of the recruitment team. Basically, if a job exists in the Simulation Hockey League, I've been a part of it. I am currently the GM of the Winnipeg Aurora. I'm going on like my 20th season of that, I feel like, at this point. Alongside me is my wonderful co-host for this evening, and hopefully for future evenings, Habs fan from Ontario. If you wanna...
I was recruited in season 6 by Ace off HF boards. Alongside me was joined by Halsey and Jumpier Pegasus. You may know Jumpier Pegasus from the Zach Miller Award, which he did not win, actually. I beat him for it. So
Imagine
it should
that.
be the HFFO award. I stand by that.
Hmm.
But yeah, I've also been in the SHL for way too long. Held various positions as SMJHL commissioner, briefly, GM'd Minnesota, GM'd Kelowna, GM'd Edmonton, co-GMing Edmonton while Caliph learns how to not get ripped off by Ace and Luke. But yeah, I also have the most players in site history. That is my claim to fame, actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you beat me there.
And I am the most nominated for GM of the Year award to never win.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, we're at 6 so far. So maybe
Nice.
7 times the charm.
I can tell you that I've won that multiple times. I just want you to know that.
I appreciate that that reminder. Thank you.
Okay, I'm glad. Yeah, so we're really excited here. We've got a lot of cool stuff to talk about. This is going to be a reoccurring session, guys. Every week, even if it's not us two, we're going to have somebody on here talking about current events for the SHL. Right off the bat, I got to talk about the elephant in the room that Jay Cortese, Joe, made sure to bring up. How is Ace even functioning after that Bruins embarrassing loss to the Buffalo Sabres? The fact is, Joe, is that I'm so used to winning as a fan that a loss doesn't faze me that much. I know that you're like conditioned to losing so much as a Sabres and a Bills fan that like winning is just like a shock to the system. Like it's fine. We're good. It's fine. We're due for a losing season and to just clean out the front office. So we're not going to talk about the NHL anymore. Thank you, Joe. We're going to move on here. So we got a lot of things to talk about here in regards to the SHL draft, Tiff. I don't know how busy you've been lately, but I myself
not really. I told Caliph
either.
it's his thing, and I'm not doing it. I'm checked out.
Nice,
I'm going to host it though, so I do know some of the people. I'm a rookie mentor. I'm in the rookie Discord. I know some of the people, but I told them like it's your thing. You got it.
Yeah. Well, I want to just kind of get your perspective right off the bat. Anything specifically that you're excited for? Any like
one of the things I'm looking forward to, or maybe like awaiting with trepidation, is there are a lot of good goalie prospects in this class.
I've noticed that too.
There's not a lot of goalie room in the SHL. So where they fall, will they fall in a team they like? Will there be room in the future? What that lends to in terms of their SHL experience? I'm curious to see how it goes because there's like 7 or 8 goalie prospects who like they could actively start for a team, and there aren't 8 spots. There just aren't.
Yeah. It's hard too. I mean, it's no secret in franchise hockey manager that goalie TPE is just like a superfluous thing that doesn't actually matter on the grand scheme of things. Now, I'm not saying that you can roll like a 500 TPE goalie on a strong team and win a challenge
accepted.
I would love to see it. I really encourage it. Shout out to Kari, Bubbler Gang, rise up. 100% agree. Go hit the bubbler. Here we go. Don't listen to Raj. Bytor says.
Never have, never will.
I know. I mean, Raj told you to draft him. You declined. You didn't want to.
I specifically said I don't know who Leo Carlson is.
Yep. Not even a good Swedish player. 100%.
What is a Leo Carlson? Is he Finnish?
That was at Raj. He can't call me Kari. Okay, so I can call Kari, but Raj cannot call Kari.
No, you have to call Kari. You can't call her Kari. That's just too much.
That's far too many Karis. I can tell you that a 500 TPE goalie can indeed take you to Game 7 of the finals.
But COA, can you tell me if they win?
Ooh. I don't even know what team you GM. You don't exist, Raj says.
That's fine. I don't GM a team. Checkmate.
He assistant GMs it.
Assistant to the regional GM.
That's right. That's right. You're a figmentation. I don't think it's a word. Figmentation.
You meant figmentation, but
Yeah. Well, I mean, Swedish to English. It's hard. That's fine.
Yeah. Google Translate. Who can use it?
Dudes, I won Razov with a 900 TPE player. Okay, that's maybe. Yeah,
that's why we're here for Fanto. Fanto's the GOAT.
That's right. That's why Hip's only here for you. Oh, that is what was said. So we got a lot to talk about. Like I had mentioned earlier, draft is coming up. I don't know about you, but I am excited about this draft. Have you guys? Selfishly, we're in trade talks. I'm not going to reveal anything. But where are things at
in trade talks? It's not. I feel like there are very few teams that are like, we're not doing anything right now. We're not looking to trade at all. Some teams might have made some trades, but there's no team that's like, we're chilling. Actually, there's maybe one team. I'm not going to call them out like that.
Not yet. We haven't established that level of rapport with the league as an official SHL sanctioned podcast to really blast people out there. Trades don't exist; they do exist, and we're gonna be.
Sorry, no, hold up. He's telling me and you that trades aren't real.
Trades are real.
Yeah, trades are the only reason I exist.
I live for trades. I probably have made the most trades in SHL history at this point.
I would be as inactive as Fanto if trades didn't exist.
Yeah, trades make me tick. That's what it just gets me going. Like when me and the missus are like trying to get it. I'm not gonna go that far. We're gonna hit the brakes right there. All right, let's go ahead and take a quick gander at the draft. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen, so bear with me here. So there's that, and then share screen, and then bang bang, and then voila. There we go. All right. So we're taking a quick gander at this. So on Sunday evening, on the SHL side of things, we've got the SHL draft kicking off around 6 p.m. Eastern time. The Minnesota Monarchs are going to hold the first overall pick. Some interesting stuff going on here. Ace casually getting picks 1 through 20 like season 62. That's not going to happen. Hot Dog says
you could get like 4 consecutive first overalls like someone else,
Yeah, shut the fuck up. Sorry. This is not a family friendly show. For the record. You guys are trade perverts from Hot Dog. Hot Dog, I missed you.
I regret nothing.
Like it I've only regressed since you left me. I miss you. Ryan says he's never made a trade in his life. I don't know. I don't know who you are, so I can't.
That's I think that's Pyro 182.
Okay, fair enough. Kari says she hates it here.
Oh, she also asked how to pronounce my username.
Oh, yes. We should talk about this.
So I actually didn't get to decide for myself. I was informed many years ago that it's Hiffo. That's just I was told that is the way to pronounce it.
I've had the same problem.
Yeah, I was told by linguistic experts. They're like, "Oh, I study linguistics, so this is how you pronounce it." I'm like,
linguistic experts like Hot Dog?
Yeah. Something he knows about trade perverts, so I assume he knows words too.
He's actually, I'm not going to dox him here, but he is actually a linguistics professor. So,
fair enough. Yeah, I guess he could
legitimately.
He'd be more qualified to tell you. It's up to Hot Dog.
I love it. Anyways, no one wants to draft apparently. I want to draft personally. I'm excited for this draft. A Fuenchi mention from Raj. Yes, that's right. Ace, do you regret trading second overall for me? You mean trading for second overall?
That's what he said. He said trading for second overall.
Do you regret trading for? Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, no, not yet. There's still time. Augie says it's not Hafo.
That's just when people are laughing at me, they might say it like that, which is a common occurrence as well. So it could be correct depending on your perspective.
Phantom says it's pronounced HFFO.
He's correct. 100%.
Yeah, I think that's right. Rashford says, not here. I miss you too. You were great, Rash. I can't believe you left.
Kind of sad. You think he's here for you and not me.
That's fair.
Yeah, I was his J defenseman partner. We set records together. I don't know what you did.
Yeah, I don't know. He just abandoned me. That's all. So you're probably right. These bubbles are moderated and censoring the true thinkers of SHL.
Correct. Yeah, we're actually honestly here to moderate SHL Think.
If we cared about the true thinkers of SHL, do you think it would be me and Hiff on the screen right now?
I won't tell you who we would bring, but it wouldn't be us.
Exactly right. So we're looking at the draft. Sunday night, we're going to have the Minnesota Monarchs kicking things off with the first overall pick. It'll be very intriguing to see what they go with. Second overall, Montreal Patriots have this pick.
So honestly, I'm gonna lead off with this saying, I think that at some point there has to be, or probably is and has been, continuous discussions about expansion. Because of the top 9 teams, most of those teams can't afford to draft another max earner who can fit in their class. And what are you doing with a top 9 pick if you can't have a max earner?
We're planting that seed of expansion.
I'm just saying. What are you going to do?
If this is a league sanctioned podcast, we can't talk about these things.
Sanctioning the discussion on expansion.
Yeah. I mean, these teams have been rebuilding for how long? I mean, parity is a discussion we're going to talk about. Are we going to need to make some changes here league-wide around parity? I don't know. I'm not qualified. I'm not an SHL head office member. I'm just a lowly general manager. But, hey, I think it's worth a discussion here. Bytor says top 10 is the superior mock version. As a GM, I can't talk about
the best mock is not for TPE because I don't like leaking my picks. It's just ruins a surprise.
I like mocking everybody equally, personally.
Yeah. I just like mocking Bruins fans, mostly you.
That's hilarious because your team hasn't been relevant in 15 years.
Don't have to be relevant to throw shade.
BV says, oops, late. I didn't expect you here right at the first second, BV, but I appreciate you coming in here.
I did. I'm very disappointed, BV.
Expansion, woo, from Ryan. Excellent. You'll hear from my father, head office, about
Wait, are you Finn's kid?
I mean,
they have the same grammar level, I think.
Yeah, not far off.
Yeah.
Rugsy says Long Island team when?
When the NHL one becomes relevant.
So never.
Oh, okay. When Lou's fired
the 70s. Expansion means that we retract Minnesota, right?
No, we don't.
We've been trying for 30 seasons.
We're demoting them, and then Quebec's getting the call up.
I mean, at this point, right?
Yeah, we're going to the soccer style.
For legal purposes, Minnesota, that's a joke. I apologize.
I don't.
Pittsburgh team when? That's a good question. It wouldn't surprise me if a Pittsburgh team was involved when the time of expansion comes out. Yeah. But hey, guys, we're talking about the draft. We're not talking about expansion right now. This is not our topic right now. We're talking about the draft. All 2 Minnesota fans are furious.
There's 3 of them, dude. Okay, you forgot the one, and that's very upsetting. That's a third of their fan base.
Sky says I've been advocating for a Quebec promotion for how many seasons have I been here? You already got it. Montreal has a team. They're in the SHL. Stop talking about Quebec.
Okay, but the Nordiques and the Montreal don't get along. Quebec and Montreal are not the same place.
But one is in the other.
Sure.
There you go. Montreal is in Quebec. Not Quebec City, sure. I acknowledge that, but there are other as far as I'm concerned, there are other places that deserve an SHL franchise before Quebec City gets added to the SHL when Montreal's right there.
I could agree with that.
So anyways, one of my things that I think is very peculiar, very interesting about this draft coming up on Sunday is Baltimore's presence here. Obviously, with the GM turnover there, with Trips leaving the platoon and Wally taking over, it's going to be a little bit of a transition there. And if everybody doesn't know, Wally is a very trade happy GM, just a man of my heart, like absolutely right there with me. I love trading with Wally.
I've
I
never
know
made a
him.
deal with Wally once.
Have you not? I can only imagine that's a lie.
Yes, it's a very obvious lie.
Yeah, I have made
trade with Wally
trades.
won me a cup, so thank you, Wally.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, I like my trades with Wally as well. But Wally has gone ahead and done some posturing here and made some changes. And Wally now has 3 picks in the top 11 for the Baltimore platoon.
What I will say is I think this was expected. Like everyone knew Baltimore's time was kind of trending downwards, which makes sense. Like, Trips would leave at a time when the team wanted to rebuild because you want the new GM to have the ability to go in and make the team in his image, their image, kind of do what they want with it. So you give them the opportunity to set it up in the way they'd like. And he's gone ahead and Wally's got ahead and done that. Acquired 8, 10, 11. He's got 21 as well. So a lot of opportunity to get some young blood on the team for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one for him. I mean, there's some good value at that mid first round selection area. I mean, this is a good draft to kind of reload real quick. Some really good first generation players available here. SD Core asked if I only had one hat. So with that point, I've changed my hat just to say that I do have more than one hat. And my headphones are about to die, so I had to plug it in. Mentions of that trade are also banned, Koa says. So if you gotta watch yourself there. I don't want to see you get banned as a result of our first episode.
I don't think Koa has the ability to ban anyone, so I feel okay.
Baitor says big draft for BAP. I have to agree that this is going to be a big draft for the Baltimore platoon. Baitor says Koa, thanks for ranting in. Baitor is one of the only 7 Hurricanes fans that exist today, so I'm very excited.
I know 4, so I must be locked into that fan base.
There's Kyle. There's Wally. Dummy GM.
Dummy thick, maybe.
Oh my god. I just saw him as soon as he was named to GM. I thought I heard that clapping noise in the GM office. It was just his cheeks.
It was also his cats coming to maul you. He literally has wild jungle cats.
Every time I see Wally and he posts pictures and selfie threads on Discord, I'm like, man, what is it like living in the Shire? Like,
tell me about 11 sees Wally.
Rich says, go Wally. Go Wally. Ace becoming a chair while I was looking away. I had to get another hat. SD Core doubted my hat inventory, but now it has a Bruins logo on it, so you all probably hate it more. So I apologize.
You should.
Them getting Tingle kind of delayed it, but they're reaching a regression point. It's hard to keep going with the Peter Dinklage profile picture.
In regards to this, I will say that getting Tingle helped, but that's mostly because they're in the Eastern Conference. And historically, the Eastern Conference has been very strong. But the last couple seasons, it's been dreadful. It's been legitimately awful. And yeah, so it has kept them competitive for a bit, but that's because the East has been a bit of a pushover lately. Some of the juggernauts kind of trailed off, but that's not really draft related, is it?
No, I mean, it is what it is. At this point, we just got to wait for FHM and our regression system to kick in. And we're going to see the recycling of talent that's going to occur inevitably. +1 hat. That is correct. I have +1 hat. Why are we not talking about Ace's hat and Hiff's hair? We are talking about my hat. And Hiff, he's got hair. Look at that. You can see it clearly.
There's 7 of them. I reversed Homer Simpson, actually. What happened was I stepped down from GMing and my hair just started growing back.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
That's what Bosley's hair thing does. They're like, all right, if you're GMing SHL, just step down.
You don't need to go to Turkey. Just quit SHL GMing.
It's Baltimore, gentlemen. BV says the gods will not save you. Do you have 3 hats? I actually have a hat rack with many hats, believe it or not. I just choose not to do that. Corsair Virtuoso headset mention. Yes, that is indeed the headset that I use for all technology related things. Rex says first Canes fan I have heard of. Fuzz is a big Canes fan, and obviously Bytor is the token Canes
It's
fan.
just a lot for a Ducks fan to be roasting a team for having a small.
That is a little rich, isn't it? Wow. You know, shit's hit the fan when the Ducks fan is roasting you for having fans. And then he hits us with a tee-hee. Dummy, yeah, from BV. Rich said I did say that. Yes, you did. LMAO, idiots. LOL, much love from Wally. Can you two RP the Thunderdome for 1 minute? I never got to experience.
Just
No,
look
for
at
legal
any message
purposes,
I've ever sent you. That's the Thunderdome 24/7.
For legal purposes, we cannot RP the Thunderdome. Unfortunately. Sky says good hat. Thank you. It's got the Pooh Bear hat there. It's
You know, Pooh
oh
Bear was
no, I heard
Canadian?
there was a goalie mask somewhere. I knew that was coming up. All right, hold on. There we go. Goalie mask is on. This is a customized goalie mask, by the way, from my youth hockey days. I have a custom mask created. It was my English bulldog growing up there.
Not
His
many
name
marks
was
on it. Is
Hudson.
that because the pucks went by you, so they never hit the mask?
Yeah, not a single mark. I could never hit it. Like it just went by me every time. My goals against average was like 17. Save percentage was approximately 0.5%. I got a sunburn on my back from the red light that went off so much. It was pretty rough. And now I'm blind as a bat because I need glasses. Of the bottom 5 teams, Chicago, Montreal, Winnipeg, Edmonton, Minnesota, who is best positioned? Oh, this is a good question.
So
Who is
if you're
best
talking about
positioned to win a cup
first, I think it's between 2 teams, there, Chicago and Montreal. Their
agree with that.
timelines are further up. They have an excellent pool of prospects. They have GMs. Montreal's a GM who's done it before. He's reached the Cup final. Had a dominant team for 2 seasons in Montreal before they blew it up. Chicago's had a lot of knowledge in that war room. Nike's been around for a long time, but I don't think he's GM'd for like season 20 like 4 or something. So it's a bit of a comeback, but yeah, it's one of those 2 teams, I'd say.
Yeah, I have to agree. I mean, you just look at the rosters themselves. I mean, they've been building out for a long period of time now, right? I mean, they've got that young core that's got that TPE level. It's only a matter of time for those guys. So, unless you have a gross misuse of your roster or just completely woefully incapable coaching, it's only a matter of time. But
I think it's also hard to guarantee a cup, right? You can have a really strong team.
That's true. I know that firsthand.
You'll run into juggernauts, right? You just can't get past a certain team, or you get stuck on something. And I think it's not like a mark of like you failed your rebuild or you weren't a good GM, but like sometimes you just don't win in FHM.
Yeah, I know that one firsthand. I mean, like we had in Winnipeg in the season 60s, like we had the best team in the league for like 7 seasons, and we only won 1 cup out of that. We made the final like 5 times or something like that, and we only won once because FHM is a fickle mistress. So
yeah, I think we had the best team in the league for like 4, and we got one final too.
Let me see if I can finagle this. There we go. That works.
Excellent.
Yeah, I'm hoping that Chicago can jump into the power vacuum. I think it's only a matter of time for Chicago. Chicago's been doing a good job. I have a lot of faith in the front office there.
I think Maddie's gonna, specifically Matty J, is gonna be a dynamo in Chicago.
This is not gonna work. All right, the mask's going off. I gotta read. I'm blind as a bat. All right. Where was I? Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of faith in the front office for Chicago. Like, I've known Nike for a long, long time. And Nike's a smart guy, and he knows what he's doing. Also a Bruins fan. Just putting that out there. So that means he's very intelligent, right, Hif?
What things we know about Boston? I don't know. I guess Harvard is there, so
A lot of colleges. You got Northeastern, you got BC, you got BU, you got
Yeah, but
Harvard,
you also have Bruins fans, so it's
Massachusetts Institute of Technology.
I guess there is a true balance in everything, in that you have Harvard and then Bruins fans, so it equals out at some point.
I mean, what can I say? I mean, there's a reason why Fallout 4 was in Boston, because we survive. We survive in Boston. So,
is it smart to hide in a bunker whenever anything happens?
Ask the Institute. Ask them. Ask them. Phantom says Raj's whole podcast has been an audio Thunderdome.
I don't know what you expected, but yeah, that's accurate.
There wasn't much cursing, just personal insults and false accusations.
I've never falsely accused anyone of anything.
Not never. That NHL 15 cover, so much nostalgia, which is funny because I went out to GameStop back when GameStop was like a popular thing, and I got this thing, and I'm like, oh, it's got Patrice Bergeron on the cover. I can't wait. And it ended up being like the worst NHL game in the entire series. So that
tracks.
That's just classic.
Makes sense.
Yeah, leave it to the French Canadian guy in the cover to have a bad game. Sorry.
Fully, yeah, 100%.
Sorry. Emergency goalie mask. That's right. Goalie mask. Woo! Yeah, it came on and I couldn't see. I checked if it redeems for your channel before, just in case. Yeah. So if you don't know, I haven't streamed in a long time. That is one of my channel point redemptions on my Twitch channel, is to put on the goalie mask. So I'm glad for that. Bytor has a fun question here. Who wins the cup first? The Barracuda or the Minnesota Monarchs?
I have been and always will be a DK truther. He has been my cup final predictions for the last 5 seasons. So I'm going to go Tampa, 100%.
So are they actually going to win it, though?
Well, at some point, I mean, it's before, to be fair, it's not who will win it in the near future. It's who will win it first. And if I have to pick between anyone in Minnesota, it's anyone.
Rashford says WD-40 sighting behind Hif. Can't have that squeaky chair on the podcast.
Can't be squeaking. It's a rule.
Who uses win as a shortcut for Winnipeg? Honestly, in about 3 seasons, I'm going to use win as a shortcut for Winnipeg, because that's all we're going to be doing, baby. That's it. All we're going to be doing is winning. In all seriousness, that seems like an Elliot Friedman thing to type of thing to do. He would do that.
Elliot Friedman would do that.
Absolutely. Ace had plot armor. I don't know what that's in reference to. Sure. I mean, we are winners. Not for the last 4 seasons, but yeah, we'll get there eventually. All you need is the dub. That's right. Or at least 1 out of 5 winners. Oh yeah, there we go. That is true. Yeah, 1 out of the 5 we won. Win points goals. Yeah, WPG. Let's go. I'm not Luke Menthol. I appreciate the suggestion, but I'm Ace, and I am wearing the Great Falls Grizzlies jersey. And Hif, what SHL team are you wearing tonight?
I'm rocking the Montreal Impact. No, it's just a Habs jersey.
Can't watch. Have to go. Be responsible. By Ace and Baldy.
Well, that's just a lie. He's not responsible,
and neither are you, Bald. So, Mr. Menthol says Chicago shows lots of promise, but I think it may be a while. Nola's going to run that division for the foreseeable future. Have you met? I'm not going to go there. I'm going to hit the brakes there.
So what I will say is that, as I was saying earlier, like, Nola might very well run that division or conference for a while, but that a lot of it is not because, like, Nola's got a solid roster, but it's not amazing. It's not like you're looking at a cup contender. That's the roster you'd pick to win the cup at the start of the season. But the East has just really fallen off. It's just a fact.
Sky says Manhattan on top.
Yeah, I could see Manhattan doing well. They did really well this year and last year.
Related to that thing that we were talking about earlier with Minnesota and Tampa Bay. Dwight Knight says Barracuda LN6.
I think you can get to 7. You might lose in 7, but you'll get it to 7.
Rich says picking against Minnesota is wise, though. On the other,
I am very wisdomous.
Raj says, "Can you guys shame Kari for not paying me yet?"
No one owes you anything.
That's a you problem, Raj.
Yeah.
That's on you.
I shame you for trying to shame Kari.
WGM, I'm taking credit for that. Thank you. I appreciate the kind words. The Atlantic and the Northeast are different.
I like to a degree I understand, but if they were in the West, I don't think they're the same level of team. I think when you have to consistently face like SFP, Calgary, LAP, it's just different than, facing Atlanta or Manhattan, which is no slight against those teams. They're up and coming teams. They have some great young players, but those are teams that are in the prime of their SHL. You're talking about a 2-time back-to-back cup champion. They won 3 of the last 4. The other team who won in a really strong up and coming, it's. I do think there's a disparity in the talent levels between the conferences, but I do think there are definitely good East teams, but I do think they wouldn't look as good if they were in the West.
I mean, not that we're biased or anything as GM and co-GM.
My team finished last in the league. I think I could.
Honestly, you are uniquely qualified to finish last in the league. You guys have been mastering that for the last friggin' 8 years.
It is a talent.
I can't even tank right because my coaches don't let me. It drives me nuts. My bad, man. Too stoned to remember which single name I needed. You're good. You're good. I appreciate you popping in.
I too remember throwing stones into the lake as a kid.
Yeah, it's the only kind of stoned I know. Like, not just the lake, but the people we didn't like. I don't give a F about the rest of the team or about the rest of the convo. I need to shill for my team.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Cool. Sure.
Happy for you. Who do you think, Tyranator 5 says, who do you think is the cup dark horse for this season? I'll let you start off there.
Dark horse cup favorite. So I guess we need to establish who the favorites are. So the dark horses would be out of them, right?
Okay.
So you're going to have SFP there because as long as they haven't done anything to rebuild, they have to be in the conversation.
Yep.
I think you're going to have Atlanta after the season they had, has to be in a favorite conversation.
Mm-hmm.
LAP, I think until they blow up again, they're just a team that has been so consistently good. They have to be in that realm. I think, honestly, Calgary is a team you put in that realm after they finished 7th in the league past 2 seasons. And they've been growing that whole time. So I think favorite conversation, they would belong in there. I think Manhattan would also belong in a favorite conversation. Just coming out of the East, and again, that continuous level of growth occurring.
Okay. So who
outside of those, horse? My dark and Tampa made the cup final. You gotta have Tampa. Because otherwise my answer would have been Tampa. But I think outside of those, I do like Atlanta a lot. They have a great mix of veterans that have great chemistry and young players who are coming up. And they obviously are excellent coaching. Back to the 60s, they were a very dominant team then, so they can do it. They can win. They won cups then, so I think Atlanta would be an excellent choice as a dark horse, quote unquote. But it really depends on what your definition of dark horse is and who those teams are.
I don't care what their definition of dark. I want to know what your definition of dark.
Yeah, that's my definition. So of those teams, I'd say Atlanta would be my dark horse.
I will say Calgary, the Calgary Dragons, and I think that they're really trending in the right direction. I think that their head office is strong, and I think that they know what they're doing. Some smart trades. They understand when they need to relinquish assets, when they've reached their shelf life for their franchise. And shout out to Boom and what's going on over there in Calgary. They're my dark horse pick for what's going on now for next season. Fanto says, I haven't been more offended today. Honestly, I don't know what you expected when you tuned into a podcast with me and Hif.
I insult you in Yukon front office constantly.
Absolutely. Koa says, the only reason I'm here to moderate the conversation so no Manhattan slander occurs. We haven't said anything
slander if it's true. It's not slander.
I mean, honestly, yeah, exactly, Rich. We wouldn't dare. We wouldn't dare. We are a league sanctioned podcast here. We would not ever do anything.
Never say anything remotely controversial.
Nope, not us. Not me. Definitely not. I haven't been suspended for code of conduct or anything in the past. So
yeah, either. I wasn't the first person suspended on the new site.
Flo says Hiff is wearing a wig. Can we get
You
like
gave me the
definitive?
wig.
Can we get definitive confirmation if this is a wig or not?
All right, we'll try.
There we go, everyone. You saw this firsthand on SHL Tonight. This is our claim to fame. Episode 1. Hiff is confirmed is not officially bald. All right, everybody, get this. Make sure we're gonna have riveting revelations like this every week, guys. So Hiff is not in fact bald. I'm so sorry to shatter everyone's world like sphere and whatever
Next
they have
week.
going on.
SD core, not from San Diego.
Not from San Diego, indeed. Yep, exactly. Yo, bald man is wearing a wig. Nope. Counterpoint, no one from the East looks good from Koa because East is so stacked that we keep just stealing wins from each other. San Francisco pride just gets.
Are you
to
just
farm
lying
your
to me,
weaklings.
or are you lying to yourself, Koa? Let's be honest here. Who are you lying to?
Sounds like Cope to me.
Yeah.
Your hair is AI.
I mean,
cool.
I am like my entire personality is AI. I'm on ChatGPT furiously typing to get responses, so that's fair.
Yeah, we're not even like actually on camera. These are our avatars, and we're just typing in response.
Yeah, we're
to AI.
VTubers.
Exactly. Precisely. Winnipeg good for Magenta. Not yet. Soon, hopefully. Looking forward to that. Yeah, throwing stones at a lake is all we got in New Hampshire. As a New Hampshire resident, I can say that there's more to life to that.
Yeah, you got to get chickens, man. Just get some chickens and a big deck.
I do have a big deck and chickens, and I have ducks now too. Actually, for the record, we've got some ducks.
You got to expand it to goats. Toe Jam is telling me about his goats.
I draw the fucking line at goats. No goats. The only goat that we recognize in this household is Tom Brady. That's it. Flo says, "Did you know Hiff is also a cryptid?"
It's true. I also
I've seen
sold
him.
my soul as a small child.
I've seen him firsthand on camera now, so maybe I have a future on like a National Geographic documentary one day. Gee, I wonder if Ace likes an NHL team. No, I'm more of like a SHL Swedish Hockey League guy.
He's a big ECHL guy. Orlando Solar Bears all the way.
Ace is a diehard Habs fan. Yep, love the Habs. Big Habs guy. Who is the most respected GM in the SHL currently from Pyro or the Kelowna GM?
So. If you're doing it again, like from best and respected, I'd probably say it's Luke, because
I'd agree with that.
Not only does Luke like has been an excellent GM, but most people don't vocally not like Luke, which in SHL GM chat is a very big compliment.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and say yes. I concur with that. I mean, you got to recognize somebody that's a tremendous like contributor to the community itself. I mean, Luke has spent countless hours on optimizing this community, and
I don't think it's countless. I bet you he has a spreadsheet of exactly how many hours
probably
he's spent on the SHL.
Like, I'm moving on. Yes, Luke is my answer. I thought it was Pittsburgh, them colors. Never say that again. BV says, you made me put on a hockey jersey now. I'm happy for that.
We can end the podcast, and that was actually the whole point.
Yep.
We wanted one other person to have a hockey jersey on.
Dwight Knight says, I have Atlanta as my front runner from the East.
DK, just one time, believe in your team. One time.
And Michael's going to win the cup.
This podcast is actually sponsored by Mikkel. Mikkel is going to win the cup.
Maybe one day. Again. Who is the most respected SHL
This one's
GM?
way easier. That's Leafs Forever.
Historically,
Leafs Forever, it's not even close.
Sure. I'll go with that. That's fine. This podcast is so league sanctioned that I haven't said anything mean about Hiff yet from Rich.
Yeah. Never forget that I didn't draft Rich.
100% AI, Flo says. No, not yet. We're good. You mean the guy who asked for his IHF, BV says? I don't know what this is in context to, but we're going to keep on moving on.
IHF isn't real.
The Elastic Bandit says, hello, peeps. Hello, Elastic Bandit. How are you this evening? Hope you're doing well. Valor says, hello, chaps. Why is Nola going to be good? Also, high prospects. Nola is going to be good because Joe trades all his futures for currently irrelevant players.
So I think he puts together solid rosters. Joe, as in the comment thread, he gets a little lost in the coaching, a little lost in the sauce there. But he's
That
had
implies
excellent
Joe
rosters.
ever goes into the coaching. I don't think Joe
That's
ever does
fair.
go into the coaching.
He sets the auto lines and then they do their thing. No, but Joe he puts together some excellent rosters. A lot of people from different leagues that maybe aren't as vocal here. He knows them from there, and he kind of gets them at kind of value picks because they're not as talkative here, but he knows them, and he's got great rosters and has for a while. So I think Nolan's going to be great because Joe is a good GM at building rosters for sure.
I mean, that's what Joe's best at, and New Orleans in general. I mean, there's a reason why they're usually at least somewhat competitive, is because they know how to maximize the on ice performance from their roster that they have available to them. So yeah, all the nice things to say about New Orleans. They're always going to be a tough team to play against anytime you take the ice. Atlantic stacked. Can we? We cannibalize each other, but San Francisco has one of the most optimized rosters in regards to the salary cap that you can have.
And again, I think that if you have to specify that a team is super optimized, even though they're in the other conference, like so many of the teams in the West are that hyper optimized level of contending. That's why it's just so strong. But that's also because so many sweaty people are just in the Pacific Conference. It's ridiculous.
Big deck chickens. That's right. Yep, big deck chickens. That's get yourself a big deck. New Hampshire slander will not be tolerated. We're not? There's no slander about New Hampshire.
I don't even know what New Hampshire is.
The deck is definitely bigger after clearing the bushes around it. That's true.
Always trim your bushes.
Ducks IRL and in Winnipeg. Woo! From Raj. That's right. And when you clean out those bushes around the deck, there's lots of room for the chickens. That's true. It's not the size of the deck, but where you put it. That's true as well. A lot of jokes coming out with the big deck comment here. That's what I love. And then we have hot dog from Dwight Knight. So thank you for that. Also relevant to the big deck conversation. BV says, have had great talks with Luke. No surprise there. BV, honestly, before we even go into like prospects and anything like that, we're already almost at time. Oh my God. We're having fun here. BV, fantastic prospect. I'm sure that you would fit in just well with any SHL franchise. It's no surprise if you had some good conversations with Luke. I thought Ace was a Monarchs fan. I'm more of a Providence Bruins guy. I used to go to Monarchs games and watch the Providence Bruins. Luke Hader checking in from Rich.
Be sure to watch them on Luke and Rich, the podcast.
Yeah, make sure to tune into that one.
It's kind of like the Skip Bayless podcast, where it's just the guy he hates across from him the whole time.
How many hot dogs should an SHL GM be able to eat?
Depends. If they're in the East, you only need to eat one hot dog.
Yeah, but what about the West?
You don't need to eat any hot dogs.
No, I did like. I mean, there were hot dogs in the West before, though.
See, we're not talking about back in the day. It's always current era, unless otherwise specified.
Why are we both here on this podcast if we're not talking about
because
back in the
if
day
they
as well?
specify back in the day, we can say, remember before regression and when capped and uncapped TP exists, and when there was no update scale in your initial player build or at all?
That's true. Never forget play-by-play forum posts.
Oh, so wonderful. Just waiting 8 hours to find out if you scored.
I loved it. The Elastic Bandit says, I want a 4-star. Yay. I'm happy for you. Congratulations on your 4-star cup.
Congrats on getting out of Vancouver.
There you go. Why is Buffalo going to be good? That's a great question.
That implies there's an answer. No, it's going to be great because Fanto and Vandy are putting in the work. They're getting some good people. And, I think Vandy's personality draws people in. He's a very extroverted and friendly guy with some fun stories. He's got excellent stories for almost any situation that might occur. And he also has some great people in Buffalo who help give some advice. And I think at some point they're going to be very good.
Make sure to subscribe and slam that like button. That's right, guys. Make sure you tune in. We're going to be on the SHL network here on YouTube every Friday. We're also on Twitch now. If you don't know, we have a Twitch broadcast as well. So check us out there on Twitch.
And my OnlyFans, we're also streaming on there.
Yeah, check out
sanctioned.
It's his league sanctioned only man's. Also, let me insert this here. There you go. I just do his draft scouting. Valor says, okay. Trading futures for players. Never heard of it. From Caleb. Yeah,
Who?
Haven't heard of that.
I don't know what Caleb. Is he the guy who disappeared?
Yeah, he's back though now.
I know Caleb's back.
Guess who's back? Bytor says, how much do you spend on cards, and why is the answer not enough?
I haven't bought a card in 10, 15. When did they come out? That season. So this is an unrelated story, but clean Andre Kostitsyn?
Oh, I know clean.
Okay, so clean Andre Kostitsyn, when the cards were out, for some reason he was able to withdraw well over his negative 1.5 million balance. He got to like negative 10 million in cards before someone found him. And then I think they took his cards away and they like canceled his account, so he's still negative 10 million. But yeah,
poor clean probably had some guy knocking on his door and like with a baseball bat.
SHL IRS, like, give us the cards.
Oh my god, so good. Joe is so good, man.
Joe's great.
Sure. Love Joe. Made a lot of trades with Joe. Feels so great to be on his team. I mean, everybody has that sentence said once in their life, like a new sentence in the world. So congratulations on that one. I'm just kidding. I love Joe and I love you. Thanks for coming in here tonight. We're kind of like
I can't abide this sentence. This sentence is genuinely. If you want me to hate Nola, this is the sentence you say.
Do you have an
Joe,
NFL team?
I love you, but Nola dead to me now.
Do you have an NFL team, Hef?
Baltimore.
Why did
to be fair, it's also not a great week to be a Baltimore fan, but unrelated.
At least you're not a Buffalo fan like Joe. Like
that's fair. I chose them because they're purple, and purple's my favorite color. That's the whole story.
I like purple as well.
Yeah.
Cake with a good question here. Do you think the Pacific Division will keep winning lots of cups after Lap and San Francisco's dynasties end presumably soon?
Quick answer: I think there'll be a lull period of like 2-3 seasons, and then there should be some 2-3. Maybe Calgary maintains that 2-3 period. Like that Pacific has a lot of good GMs who know what they're doing.
But after those 2-3 seasons, where is it going?
Calgary, Edmonton, SFP, never Winnipeg.
We're coming, baby. We're coming. I promise you, we're coming. Because other teams are foolish enough to trade with San Francisco Pride. Sure.
It's not really how it works. Like, so this is just a side commentary, but like people will be like, oh, just don't trade with that team. But it's like sometimes the team has assets you need. You can't individualize your needs to be like, well, I can't trade with them even though they have what we need and they're willing to negotiate with me. Like that's a ridiculous claim. Like maybe you'll lose a trade, but you can lose a trade and get what you need and come out of it in the end ahead. Honestly,
100%. I mean, you gotta look at things from a holistic angle, right? I mean, there's gonna be situations where like you can't trade with this team because it's just gonna help. Honestly, I don't care if that other team is more successful, but if it benefits my franchise in the short term or the long term, I have to make that decision on if that's what I need to do for my franchise. And I mean, people are going to be like, oh, I can't believe you traded a first to this team. Well, they had a friggin' asset that made sense for my franchise long term.
Well, I think it's also that if you're living in fear of making a trade with a team, that team's already beat you.
100%.
Like, it's just they're already ahead. They've won. It's over.
Yep. Jarrett says, I'll also eat as many hot dogs as required. I'm happy for you.
Okay, but are the hot dogs steamed or are they grilled?
Boiled. So we're coming up at time here. Let's go ahead and on this point from Tyranitar 5, what do you guys think about the most recent trades in the SHL? And let's go ahead and break down some of these trades. And we're going to go ahead. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to show some fun things about these trades. Don't worry, guys. I will get this optimized more moving forward. So the first one I have to show is the trade that has, and Hiff, I'm going to rely on you in some of the analysis because I can't pull up another monitor that
Sure.
has more details here. But this trade has the Texas Renegades receiving Thomas Hudson and the Baltimore Platoon receiving a 3rd-round pick from season 85.
Yeah, well, I can go off the cuff here. I drafted Thomas Hudson. He's a good guy, a bit quieter, older user, but solid player. It's just, as we mentioned in the E word discussions, expansion. But sometimes there's just not going to be room for certain people. Like you have to pick and choose the people who can make your roster, and there's going to be people who don't make the cut, and they're going to go for prices cheaper than they probably should. And he used to, his former players in Texas. He had like 1,800 TPE. I think he won a cup there. They love him in Texas. So Coop's bringing a guy home.
Yeah, I'm moving on because it was the wrong logo, but that's okay. Do you have anything else to say about that trade?
No, that's basically it. But like it's a great move for Texas, who's just capitalizing on roster space.
Yep. Okay. Next trade, the multiple 1st-round picks being moved here. The Chicago Syndicates are going to go ahead and receive Slava Ukraini, Harayam Slava, and Toronto receives multiple 1st-round picks, both season 81, season 84, and season 85.
And he's very worth it. Darian is awesome. Very friendly guy. I don't know anyone who's had like a bad experience with Darian. He's one of those just friendly people who don't really get in any kind of drama. Really good dude. Yeah, Chicago's going to love him. His last player was in Chicago, so it's a reunion. Yeah, great move for Nike and a good haul for Toronto, who's beginning a bit of a rebuild that they're going for.
Dwight Knight says that Clean was looking for his brother Andre.
Andre Ware, yeah.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows where Andre is.
No, it's Sergey Ware. Sorry.
The next one we have here, Winnipeg Aurora receives Arthur Kaliev, and the Calgary Dragons receive a season 82 3rd-round pick, 50% retained on Kaliev for season 81. I can obviously provide my context on this, but what do you have to say about this trade, Hiv?
Yeah, so this is, again, roster space crunching. They didn't have room to keep them. They had people filling spots. But Kaliev is someone I thought was an absolute steal when they were drafted. They went like 11th. I was like, should have been a top 5 pick. Kind of fell off in terms of their training. I think they're around 1,100 TP, I want to say.
Yep.
But yeah, it's a great move for Winnipeg, of course. This is going to help you, make the playoffs, and playoffs is where you build extra chemistry. So, always going to get a solid roster player to get you there. And a third is probably not much unless the S82 draft is very strong.
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective personally is that it was a user that I had a good conversation with back in the time of scouting, and we are looking for just roster fillers as we're continuing to build a team here, and it just made a lot of sense. And if we can get them at 50% retained from the previous team, why not? So happy to welcome Kaliev to the Winnipeg Aurora and looking forward to the season. We have a pick transaction trade here. Baltimore receives the season 81 1st-round pick and the season 81 2nd-round pick. Calgary, we got logos messed up again here, I think. Calgary receives the season 84 1st and the season 84 2nd-round pick.
Yeah, I think this is a lot of what you're seeing is teams knowing they want to have space to roster an S81 player. So they're trying to push the picks back. And Baltimore's looking to get those people in because they're looking at that rebuild. So they're able to capitalize and get the picks. Usually when you're trading into a current draft, you usually have to pay a premium in future picks. But because teams don't have that roster space, you're looking at a straight 1-to-1.
Yeah, so that is actually a Manhattan trade, not Calgary. So they do have the correct logo there. It is Manhattan.
Cow and Dragon, it's the same thing.
Hey, Valor, why don't you not talk about that? Moving on, Baltimore Platoon receives a season 81 3rd, season 83 1st, and a season 84 1st for Jay Brizzy. who is in the absolute top of their career at this point. Any thoughts on that deal right off the hop, Hev?
Yeah. So what I will say is initially it looks like you're paying early in for a defenseman. However, getting a defenseman at the top of their career helps you get in the playoffs, which I mentioned earlier, helps you build chemistry. And when they're regressing and your team's contending, you have someone on the lower end of their career who isn't going to cost you a lot of cap, who's built chemistry with your team and keep around long term, that you know is a great locker room asset. So it really helps you on both the front and back end, which I think is pretty savvy.
Yeah, really excited for this. A big reason why Winnipeg hasn't been able to move past the first round for, the last year, really. I mean, we haven't been ready for that, is that our defense has been so far behind on TPE. Really excited to welcome Jay the Great into Winnipeg. It's time now in Winnipeg for the rebuild to stop and for the era of let's win as many games as we can
Would
to
you
start.
go on record as saying you are in the mix this season?
No, not this season. I would say that probably that would start the season after this upcoming season, but it's time to stop trying to tank because we can't tank as well as Edmonton every year.
Nobody can. We're the goats.
Next up, we have Texas receiving a season 82 first and season 84 second, and Lucas Raymond, and San Francisco receives Chris Valentine with 50% retained for season 81.
The reigning MVP, 50% retained for a 1+2 is a fantastic deal for SFP. Lucas Raymond might not have had the time they initially thought when they came back, but they're definitely not a max earning player. They are around. They're reachable on Discord. But I wouldn't say they're any kind of premium asset that makes this looks like a great move. But it is definitely a rebuild, a retool for Texas as they're looking to get younger assets. And maybe Valentine wanted to go to a destination where he's looking to contend, and there's no better destination than that. But they have like the past 2 or 3 MVPs on their team now or something. Like the firepower in SFP is absurd.
I mean, you can't argue with it, right? I mean, 2 cups in a row. What else can you get that's better? So good place to end up if you're trying to chase
3 of the last 4. Yeah, not bad.
Not bad, not bad. Next up, we have the Baltimore Platoon receiving a second-round pick in season 83 for the Pride receiving Journeyman. If you don't know, go ahead.
Oh, do you have the story about this?
Yeah, go right ahead. I'll
So
leave it to you.
they were going to sign Journeyman last year. However, Journeyman did some, had a little training with Adam Nicholas in the offseason, got a little bit of a TP buff over the cap, and they could no longer afford him. So he ended up in Baltimore last season, but they're sending him to SFP when they can afford him this season for a second-round pick. And the Journeyman journey continues.
Yep. So that, I believe, will do it for the trades that we have. So next time we promise to get the graphics a little bit more cleaned up and not have the wrong teams and wrong names. But hey, it was still fun to have some great graphics to show you guys.
You can
this
speak
evening.
to our HR department. It's Troy McClure. He can handle all complaints.
Reach out to Troy for sure. Before we wrap up here, I know we're over time. Still have a good number of people in here. So first off, before we continue going, I really appreciate everyone's engagement and talking in chat here. That's really what we want in this podcast. It's meant to be a highly interactive show. So right off the bat, any other questions that people want us to talk about before we kind of wrap up here a little bit? We're going to have stuff to talk about, like player builds and rule changes and parity and all of that kind of stuff here.
I think next week we're focusing on the draft itself, though.
Correct. Yeah, next week we're going to focus a lot about the draft results. Hold on, let me grab something here. Pyra says San Francisco, it's time to stop.
Fair.
Yep, I agree. That rebuild is going to be deep. I don't know who we're talking about by tour, but sure. My ears were burning. Joined right when I'm being discussed. LMAO. Yeah. I loved having you here in Winnipeg, and I hope you have fun with this whole mantra of checking out every team. There is no reaching Troy, Rich says. Troy reaches you, Koa says. Time to slander Troy. Troy knows too much.
And yet also knows too little.
Troy Hate podcast next week. I think this has already turned into Troy Hate podcast.
Conclude every week by just slandering Troy, I think is the
I think that's not a bad idea. Any predictions for potential top 10 picks? I'm staying away from that.
I will say I think Jess goes somewhere in the top 10. It's a bold claim. It's a bold claim. Ace just disappeared. Okay.
I don't know what happened there.
He's back.
I'm back. Yeah, I think that's probably a safe bet. I think Corey goes top 10. I think BV goes top 10. I think there's a bunch of other players.
I think Teru Tsushimoto has a shot too.
Yep. Probably. I don't know who that is, but I'm going to agree with you.
That's
sure.
the fake player Buffalo made up because the draft was taking too long. So they took.
Oh, right. That's right. I forgot about that. Does Jag go top 10? I don't know. Jess is a top 10 pick. Gasp. Wow. I know. First vet drafted and first new gen drafted. Ooh.
See, are you defining veteran as recreate or veteran as longtime member of the site?
Yes. I say longtime member of the site.
So what season their first player makes them a vet?
Just use your best guess.
All right, I think Jess is the first vet that gets drafted.
Yeah.
First new gen. I'm gonna go with Jordan Lafreniere.
And username?
It's rookie.
Interesting. I think even though BV's a goalie, I think BV goes very early.
I do think very early. I don't think first though, because goalie.
Yeah, I agree. Bytor says hi, Ace. Hi, Bytor. Bye, Ace. Oh wait, you said bye before hi. What's going on here?
Well, you left and then came back. He had to react to it.
Oh, right. I had to step away. The new gens are hard to predict. Yes, very good. We love rookie Rookie.
Yep.
Okay, I am dragged down by my goalie pads. That's true. As a goalie, you saw my goalie mask already. I know that feeling. If BV wasn't a goalie, would be my best for first gen.
100,000% agree.
1,000%. Beeves is high in my personal board anyway. All right, perfect. All right, guys. Well, we have exhausted our time here available this evening.
And discussed almost zero of the topics.
None of our agenda. Basically none of it. So we got a lot to talk about next week, as well as the results of the draft. So hope you guys all had a fun time on the inaugural episode of SHL Tonight. I know myself, I had a wonderful time. Hif, did you have a good time?
It was all right.
All right. We're not going to have
more Habs fans.
We're not going to have Hif back next week, but it was good. Thank you very much for tuning in. Make sure that you follow our Twitch account. That is Simulation Hockey League on Twitch. You guys are already probably on YouTube here. We appreciate you guys, and we can't wait for next week. And until then, we'll catch you later. Peace.